G'day, Richard Marr from Mars Classes. A different type of episode today. I'm going to be looking at ways we can do teaching and learning, effective teaching and learning in remote situations where yourself and the students will be in different locations. I'll be looking at a number of solutions that we can be using, and I'm hoping that this year will turn out to be a really, really beneficial year. First of all, with Zoom Learning, once you've signed on to your free account, you can invite people to the meeting. If I show you, this is the screen I'm seeing as the host, but if I wanted to invite someone to the meeting, I just go to my default email, or if I'm using Gmail, I can use that. But then I put in an email invitation to them. It will then go to their email. Now, I've just received one here on my other MacBook, so I'm going to use that as a participant in the meeting, and hopefully it will join once it's done. Okay, you do have to, the very first time you use the software, you do have to download a little piece of information. Sorry, I just had to do that on this machine. So now this is going to join. Look, you can join as a participant with or without video. Probably without might be better for your students, just for a bit of privacy and so on. I'm just going to I'll join without video on this instance here, but you can still have the audio so that when you are speaking to, and so this is my MacBook which has just joined, but I can join with audio, which I'm hoping, oh sorry, I'm just going to mute the other machine so I don't get feedback there. Now with that, I've muted both machines in fact. With that, if you want to see what the participants are seeing it, click on here. You'd have each screen up here showing all your participants. You can also open a chat on the side here where everyone can speak, or you can chat to individual members of the group. You can deliver files to the students and get them to work on files. If you want to manage your participants, this is the screen that they will see, and you can unmute them, or you can even turn their camera. I think I can turn their camera on. Let me just check. Ask to start video, so I can send to that machine, will you start your video now? I just want to see what you're up to, and then you'll be able to see what they're doing there. So let's just turn that camera off now, stop the video. And the same with this microphone. It's probably better to mute most people when they come in, because you're going to have a lot of outside noise. Some of the strategies you've got to use in these types of classrooms are, you have to have a location. I think it's wise to have a space which is for work and have a routine for your day, because you're going from a very structured sort of work day at school to a day where it's pretty free flowing, and you know how students at the end of the summer holidays are getting a bit bored and a bit lost as to what to do. If we can establish a structure to this learning from home, it's going to be a lot of value to them. Look, on this chat side of thing here, when you are discussing stuff with your students, look, I'm just sitting down at the moment talking. I'm going to run through a few different strategies as how you can share your screen with them. But you see these little, I don't know what you call them, things where they can respond. So you might ask, now, is everyone following what's going on? Now, if I get the participants to do the same sort of thing on theirs, and if I say, hey Mac, do you follow what's going on? And if he clicks on the little tick button, you know that he's involved. It's also handy to get them to do that at a certain point and say, can everyone just put a tick to see that they know what's going on? That lets you know that they haven't just left the room, because you know what kids are like, they'll be wandering in and out all the time. So it gives you some idea of what's going on. These other little thumbs up, thumbs down are good too. Down the bottom here, there is, where is it, reactions. You can have clappings and thumbs up as well. So they're pretty handy. While I'm down here, this breakout room is quite neat. You can send groups off for group work. Okay, onto the sharing of the screen. If you share your screen, there are a number of options to share the screen. Now, if I share my desktop, what all the participants will see is my desktop. So let me just get that out of the way. And I also believe that you should be modelling good practice. Keep your desktop pretty clean. I'm dressed as I would for school. I'm not just wearing a t-shirt and my paint clothes sort of thing. So I think you should be presenting it in a professional manner. But when you open your desktop, it's possible to open anything that you would normally run on your desktop, like here's a presentation, a keynote presentation, and you can just go through that presentation with your students. Now, I'm looking on the other machine, and this Mac is seeing this presentation as we go through, and you will be talking just as you would in a classroom for that presentation as you progress your way through the slides. Now, it's a simple case at the end of that to stop the sharing. Where are we? To stop the sharing. No, it's not that simple. Okay, I can't get my pointer onto the stop share. That'd be right. There you go. So now you just escape from the presentation and you get back to where you were before. That's not the only sharing of screen you can do. It is possible to share your phone, which is really pretty handy if you wanted to move away from your desk. So you can do your phone or iPad through AirPlay. When you do that, look, it's just that's my Wi-Fi network here at home, that name there. I then slide up on my phone. I can select screen mirroring. What it then does, and select the Zoom meeting, what that then enables me to do is, well, I think this is what a lot of you will find quite neat. If I go to my camera and then I just place that on a shelf here above a bit of paper, it's now possible for me to write notes for the students to see. Now, I've just realised that my camera's a bit of the wrong way around, so you'd have to just negotiate your camera so that it would be legible to your students. I think that's pretty neat, but if I stop that share, and look, the other shares that you can have are for a whiteboard, and this is an interactive whiteboard where you can get all the participants to draw onto the whiteboard, add notes, do all the things you want to do. I just find, as a science teacher, the mathematical equations and so on, I find this really quite difficult to do with just a mouse, so I would probably not use that. However, if I was going to share my iPad, and I'll do it the same way as the phone was shared, in that sorry, I've just got to connect to this iPad. It was turned off there for a while. So if I do the same thing through AirPlay and connect to the Zoom meeting with my iPad, now what I've got, and I find this is an easy, if you just get any note-taking app, oh damn, okay, any note-taking app there, and if I create a new notebook, well, for whatever reason, I don't see this on screen at the moment. Are you guys seeing anything? No. Well, that's a shame. Oh, there it is. Okay, so the same deal. If I'm writing some sort of an equation like this, and then I can do my calculation, blah, 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 in any sort of interactive whiteboard, I find that a bit easier. Now, I've only got an old Mac. I don't have a decent stylus, so my writing's not that neat. But for those of you with more modern iPads and better styluses, I think that's going to be a really good option. Another option, which I think would suit many of us, is if you have your own actual whiteboard. So with your whiteboard, and I can just see here with the reflection from the windows, make sure there's no reflection. But if you've got a whiteboard which you can work on, you do draw a cell. You're talking about the cell division in the cell or something like that. You could do that. If it was something, some diagram that you knew was going to be a difficult one to get drawn pretty quickly, you can have such things ready. I said it was down there. Ready drawn on the whiteboard. I've locked the lid on this, so it's not rolling anywhere at the moment. But you can see that this whiteboard, if you have it in the right location, you're going to get a pretty good use of a normal classroom situation. Now, I'm just looking on my screen that I'm recording. That is mirrored. but I'm looking onto the screen of the participant. It is the right way around. I'm not too sure why that is doing that. But anyway, look, I'll just roll that whiteboard out of the way for now and come back in. What I think you can do, and as I say, traditional learning, and again, I'll repeat that this is a down and dirty, quick, and just give you some ideas. If we are sharing the screen, I would like to still utilise tools that I use in the classroom anyway. Here, for example, with STILE, I'm hoping those of you in Australia know of STILE. It is an awesome teaching and learning resource. They are offering it free to all Australian schools for this semester, and I think that is so generous of them. There is a library of science lessons already built, but you don't have to use their lessons. You can build your own. For example, here's one that I've built on quantum weirdness, which I'm going to hopefully run with my students, whereby, look, at its very base, it is an interactive worksheet. But the neat thing about it in this remote situation is that you can keep an eye on what students are doing. You can provide them with feedback immediately they work on stuff. I would be doing things like, say, during the Zoom meeting, say, right, everyone go to the STILE page through whatever content learning management system you have. Go to the STILE page on such and such. I'm going to give you 10 minutes to work through this, and then we're going to discuss what we've done. While we're doing that 10 minutes of working through it, I can then check in, because on the chat section, I'll just stop the share for now, on the chat section down here, I can select who it is I want to speak to, and I can just chat to individuals as they're going, and the rest of the people won't see that sort of thing going on. So with this, I think it's just awesome. We can in this thing, when you want to add content to your pages, if it's not already there, this is all the content you can add in there. You can have live polls. You can have, again, an interactive canvas that kids can draw on, mind maps, all this sort of stuff you can just build into, or a live brainstorm. You can build it into your lessons as you go. So while you're not there with the student, you're still doing proper teaching and learning. So I'm hoping that during this period of innovation, I'm hoping there's going to be so much creation and creative ideas that people are going to come up with. For example, assessments, they're not going to be, learn a few facts. I think it's going to be more, can we check our understandings of things? Deeper learning, I think, is going to go on. That's my hope. I'm a glass half full type person, so that's what I'm hoping is going to happen. Other types of things, if you're more into just the learning of facts and so on, there are other resources in Australia that you can use. Now, I just want to move this down a bit so you can see them. Education Perfect, again, another pretty huge resource, which again is offering free access to Australian schools. It's not so much on the teaching side of things, but on the learning side of things, it's really good. You can set up, for example, here's some tasks and homework I've set for my students, whereby they're working through, say, 4 or 5 hours of work on different things, where they can look at a number of questions. They get immediate feedback when they've put their responses and so on, and then they can have little challenges with each other and that sort of thing. Now, one thing I will point out is don't overload the kids with work. Just give them little nuggets on the way through. With that and organisation, one website which I have found remarkable for students just in the classroom normally is Sown to Grow. Now with Sown to Grow, normally I just use it, say for my classes, if I look at goal setting. They've got a really good module on goal setting where they, I've got it here for genetics, where they set a goal for 3 weeks, they check in every 3 weeks, and then I check out what they've done. If they don't know what sort of strategies they should be employing to achieve their goals, there are lots of ideas for them to do that. When I get to the insights on what they have written as their goals and what they have done when they check in, it provides to provide feedback to them. So this is his goal, this is reflection, and this is my feedback on those things. Really, really nice. But now they have got an even, I think, more invaluable module which they've developed for the students, which, I'll just move my right there, which during this period of time is just invaluable, and that's daily remote planning. I think if our students each day when they wake up can have a plan for the day, can reflect on that plan at the end of the day, can think what they can do the next day, it's going to be for their mental health so much better. So for this particular thing, when they set their plan, it's very similar to the weekly goal, but they again have okay. Look, I just got interrupted there, and that's another thing that's going to happen when we're working from home. You're at home, and things will happen. So with that website, the Sown to Grow, the learning strategies, again, they're there. There's a whole lot of strategies for giving them ideas of what they're going to do on a daily plan and organisation and perseverance and focus, how they can study and so on. It is just awesome, and I've found the team there so responsive and such a good mob of educators. It's really, really awesome. Okay, so what interruptions? This will happen throughout the day for yourself and your students. You just have to deal with it. That's life. So getting back to that website, I'll just share that screen with you again. If I have a look at that Sown to Grow website and, oh, wrong one. Sorry, the Sown to Grow website, I'll just get this out of the way, where they can make their plan. It gives them ideas, and you can check out sample strategies for each day and so on. Their daily plan, though, they're actually writing their own plans. I just realised then I touched my face. I think we should be modelling trying not to do that. There are suggestions that when you've got to be mindful of the number of times you touch your face and when it occurs. A fidget spinner or a stress ball in your hand keeps your hand occupied. One hand here is on a mouse, so maybe we should be modelling really good behaviour for our students. But anyway, back to this. They can add their ideas there. I can come in very easily and have a look. Nobody's done it yet because I've only just set it up just then and there, so the students aren't even aware about it. But I'll show you how, if we give feedback, you just click on the give feedback. It just gives me an opportunity to write in there what they've done, and you can see all the reflections and so on. Look, it's a really, really nice bit of kit. Look, I think I've finished it here because I'm rambling a bit, but the thing is that with that Zoom classroom, I think we can have really good classrooms. I think we can have, as I said, the breakout groups where students can go into small groups and then come back and report. I think there can be really nice creativity. I've said to my students, I'm hoping that 2020 is the year of clarity, the year of great vision. I hope it's the year when some of the best literature we've ever read is written, some of the best music is ever written. I've recommended my kids, yeah, we have got regular school learning, but how about they learn an instrument or paint or I don't know, play music or just do something personal that makes them feel good about themselves and share it with the rest of the world. So that's actually what I'm going to try and do. I'm going to try and share my successes on this teaching and learning journey that we're all on, and hope that my glass half full attitude is what actually happens at the end of this, whatever it is. Okay, so look, I'll finish there, and as I said, I'll develop this channel with more and more uses of tech to get us through what we're in at the moment. Take care, everyone, and look after yourselves and who you care about. See ya.